Hello everyone, I'm Tom64 and welcome to the HellfireComms playthrough of Disney Epic Mickey Power of Illusion. Been actually wanting to do a playthrough of this for quite a while now. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a big fan of the old school 2D Disney platformers. You know, like The Lion King, Jungle Book, Hercules, specifically stuff like World of Illusion. That was one of my favourite childhood games, and you may have seen it, you may not have, but Helldragon and I actually did a co-op run of the game. It was a pretty fun playthrough. This is a spiritual successor to Castle of Illusion. Never played it myself, never played Land of Illusion either, but I've heard good things about them. So let's get on and begin. Now, I have played through this once already, as you can probably see by the time on this save file here. It's not going to take 23 hours. Personally, I think it takes into account all the time you spend on like sleep mode or whatever. I'm going to save that save file, and I'll overwrite this one instead. Because there's a lot of stuff you need to do towards the end, you know, like getting new upgrades and so on, and I don't really want to waste time, so I'll switch out to my good save file then. Let's do this. Now, this is made by, I think, Dreamrift or Dreamlift, I'm not sure which, but basically the Henry Hatsworth guys. And also, like in Henry Hatsworth, there's a part of the game where the difficulty just goes whoosh and shoots off into the stratosphere. Mostly it's to do with spikes here, so we won't be dealing with any really annoying boss battles. Colonel, or whatever it was in Henry Hatsworth. I don't know, I was just never able to get past that fight. Bit of a shame, because I really enjoyed Henry Hatsworth. Now, this is the 3DS counterpart to Epic Mickey 2. The console version is more of like a straight sequel to the first game. You know, 3D platforming and all that. I guess they just decided to go old school for the handheld version. It works, you know. It's not a particularly great game. It's serviceable for the most part. Hopefully I'll be able to show off some of the problems as we go through, but suffice it to say, it's not my favourite 2D platformer of all time. Not in the slightest. One of the problems straight off the bat is pacing. Like, you can't skip this cutscene, and you can't really skip any of the others, and the text scrolls so slowly. It's kind of draining my will to live. Really hard to make unfunny quips. You know, like, here's a paintbrush, and he's going to use the paintbrush. He's going to do some things, thinning out the world, drawing in new objects and so on. So at least they were able to keep in the whole paint mechanics of the console version, which is kind of neat, I guess. Oswald's in this one, which is a bit of a spoiler for those of you who haven't finished the first game, like me. One of the only games that I never finished this generation. I got so bored, I actually sent it back. Sold it, even. The other one was Kid Icarus Uprising, which, to be honest, I kind of want to get and play again. I feel I was a bit unfair to it, even if I wasn't having that great of a time. But, you know, stuff. I like the art style for the cutscenes, though. Whiteface Mickey, to coin a phrase, was a bit before my time. Although that being said, I think the first Mickey Mouse cartoon I ever saw was Clock Cleaners, and I think he sported that design there, so I don't know, lol. Clock Cleaners was actually a pretty fun level in the original Epic Mickey, because what it did in the first Epic Mickey, there were 2D sections, and they were based on the old cartoons, so like Steamboat Willie, which was done better in Mickey Mania, but whatever. Clock Cleaners, like I said, some weird wartime cartoons, which aren't really my bag, but whatever floats your boat. It was just that it was kind of like, it was based off the old N64 style of 3D platformer, you know, collectathons and whatnot, but without any modern advancements, you know, like without any of the streamlining that makes platformers fun to play nowadays. Kind of stuck in its time. Power of Illusion kind of suffers from that as well, but from the 2D perspective of things. weird seeing Jiminy here, having just come off the KH-a-thon. You know, he was in Prankster's Paradise and whatnot. Don't expect voice acting in these cutscenes, unlike in Power of 2, the console version. I guess they were just going for a retro style of things. Let's see who's in the chat, because obviously I'm streaming this right now. A few regulars. It's a bit early. I decided to start a bit early because I've got other stuff to do today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play straight through, but I'll get as far as I can. Mizrabel was the primary antagonist from the original Castle of Illusion, I believe. Thank you, Wikipedia. Okay, let's do this. Little bit Legend of Zelda right here, what do you think?
Gee.
I'll try not to skip the text too fast, but I can read pretty fast, so don't blame me if I do it accidentally. Force of habit and all that.
Gosh.
Scar? Cruella de Vil? Hades, yeah. The Queen from Snow White. Gaston! And Maleficent. It's kind of weird, she loves Maleficent's form apparently, so she uses that to just antagonise Mickey. I don't know, did Mizrabel ever have a proper form in the original Castle of Illusion? Whatever. Right off the bat I can tell you the backgrounds look gorgeous, so art wise, you know, art design wise, the game doesn't suffer to any great degree. I haven't really played with 3D on because, to be honest, I don't use the 3D function that much on my 3DS. I tried it on Dream Drop Distance and I very nearly got a headache. Does not suit that game's fast-paced gameplay at all. Looks okay in the dive sections though. She looked like the old lady disguise from Snow White. Makes sense, I guess. Mizrabel does sound like an old witchy kind of name.
Let's go.
Brett Owen does a good job in this game as Mickey. Quite pleased with his vocal delivery. Okay. Movement's not bad. Jumping is nowhere near as floaty as I was led to believe. I mean, it's a little floaty. It's based off Castle of Illusion after all, but it's not bad. This is mainly how you're going to attack. Jump, press jump again, and you'll do a butt slam. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I prefer to just jump on enemies normally and not have to do any like secondary inputs. That's the style of the game, I guess. Yep, we're going to learn how to paint here, and you better get used to it, because you will be doing a lot of it throughout the course of the game, to the point where it actually gets kind of monotonous and a little bit tedious. Okay, let's paint this sucker in. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now, they say the better you do at these, the better the object will be. I don't know, like stability and so on. It hasn't really affected me, like, by doing, like, only okay, so I don't know what the hell they're on about. This money will be used for upgrades, so just collect it as you go along.
Gosh. Will you help us?
Prepare to hear a lot of out-of-context lines, you know, stock dialogue and all that. It was really bad in Sega Superstars Tennis, where Eggman is using lines from '06. He's like, "You've wasted so much of my time." It's like, what the hell? That was like the opening line. The match hadn't even begun yet. Oh look, it's a heart, and Maleficent is the main villain. What's going on here? Okay, in the chat they say, special note, the music here is actually an orchestrated version of the first level in Castle of Illusion. That's a nice touch. Doesn't really do anything for me, because like I said, I am more of a World of Illusion kind of guy, but at least they're sticking to the roots and whatnot. Okay. How the hell am I supposed to get past here without getting hurt? Oh, a very light tap. There we go. I've still got it. You'll get other melee attacks and whatnot soon, so don't worry. Okay, and now the opposite of painting. Finning. In Epic Mickey, the first one, the console one, I mostly just used to fin out enemies. I honestly did not care about wasting time, you know, corrupting them, turning them to my advantage and so on. So I just wiped them out of existence because I'm cruel like that. If you time your butt stomps, like you've seen me do so far, you can actually do a super jump, which will come in really handy reaching hidden areas and whatnot. Hello Zalem, nice to see you here. I probably could have just jumped on those things, but whatever. Nowhere near enough $E to get an upgrade yet, but oh well. Now these things look like enemies from the first game. I don't know about y'all. No copyright infringement intended. This is a not thwomp. Don't expect perfects all the time. I am not that good of an artist. Goddamn enemies coming from off camera. It's not on, I told you. It's not on. The physics kind of throw me off in this, so if you just see me like randomly stumble into an enemy, yeah, that's kind of why. No excuses, I'm just not all that great. There you go. Full health again. Very useful technique, that super jump. Try and perfect it as soon as possible. One thing I think could have sped up this whole finning process. You only have to do the outline of something to paint it, but you have to rub out the whole thing in order to get rid of it while using the finner. I think if you just like finned out the outline, the rest should have followed. I don't know. These are just my ideas. Mickey Tornado! Probably my least used attack, that tornado. Just leaves you far too open. Okay, let's create a peat thwomp. Put it just here. And there you go. Original character, do not steal. You'll get sketches by doing loads of optional quests and whatnot. Personally, I wouldn't bother. The only one I really ever use was I think it was Yensid's hat. and that grants you invincibility. You'll see me use that when I switch over to my completed file towards the end of the playthrough. Just making things a bit easier on ourselves. Oh, Jim Cummings got to get paid, I suppose. Hey, it's Scrooge McDuck, one of my favourite characters. Another theme of Power of Illusion. Finding classic Disney characters in the levels. I'll go into depth in regards to the RPG features of the game when we actually get to the fortress, but for now just enjoy the static animation of Scrooge McDuck. He has multiple frames, not just one. He's a bit more grizzled in this one compared to the Kingdom Hearts incarnation. I kinda dig it. Oh, I don't need to thin out this golden font. I can just run past it. There we go. It's pretty slow to begin with, but as we reach the later levels, it will also be pretty slow. What you're seeing here is basically the entire game. Although most of the later levels feature spikes. Ugh. Very jaunty victory theme.